Hey guys, welcome back to 5 nothing 100 nothing.com. My name is Fugget. And that stands for Fittest Underdog Guru Using Intelligent Tactics. And today I want to talk to you guys about an experience I had. It's a little story. It goes back to the end of the calendar year. And what happened was it was late fall and getting close to winter time, and I had switched up my diet where I eliminated simple sugars, I eliminated alcohol, all those types of things, and took on a ketogenic diet. I wanted to see what kind of effects it would have on me. I'd read a lot about it, the hormonal effects, and I'd had experience and success with using years ago an Atkins type diet. So ketogenic appealed to me because I just thought it was really crazy and radical that you would eat 70 to 80% of your calories from fat. So I said, what the hell? I'll give this a shot. So in the first 2 months, I lost approximately 26 pounds of fat. Now, when I'm training, I have on mostly black attire. And so black is very slimming and can hide a lot of your nutritional sins, as they say, or as you can say. So, when I lost the weight, it wasn't really apparent until I got into that 15 to 20 and then 26 pound mark. Someone who hadn't seen me in a while could really see the difference. So, about that time, I had a few clients that wanted to go online and register for the Weight Watchers app. Now, with Weight Watchers, what happens is you have points. You can eat whatever you want, but you've got to follow a certain amount of points, which equates to your calories for the day. So it's a real simple system for tracking your total calorie intake for the day. And then based on your height and weight, and based on your weight goals, weight loss goals, or weight management goals, Weight Watchers will compute a figure how many points you should eat a day. So my clients were like, we're going to register for this app and everything, and we'd like you to do it with us. And, we'll all meet up every week and kind of go over the results and see what's going on and compare results. So my compromise was, I'll do it with you guys. I was really intrigued because I wanted to see what would happen is if I kept following the ketogenic diet and computed the keto system I was eating into the points. So I wasn't going to try to stay within the points that Weight Watchers recommended I do. I was simply going to continue to do ketogenic and see how many points that was going to be and what my results would be compared to them that were doing it tried and true exactly by the letter with Weight Watchers. So basically this is really a rundown of what happened when I applied ketogenic eating to the Weight Watcher system and how that figured out. So, like I said, I've been doing ketogenic dieting for about 2 months and had ridiculously amazing results. And what happened was, whenever I started to put in my ketogenic diet and the numbers, how it translated, I was supposed to get somewhere between 23 and 24 points a day based on my body weight and what my goals are. For my clients, they were somewhere between 25 to 27 points a day, which was allotted for them to show a calorie deficit to then lose the weight that they that had been part of their goal. So they're staying within their system, and so I start to plug in my what I'm eating on ketogenic, and I noticed that my points day after day were somewhere in as low as 57 points and one day as high as 68 points. So it was always somewhere in that range for the next 3 months, as I never dipped below that 50 to high 50s, and I never quite got to 70 points, but it was always somewhere in that range. So if you're using their system, the Weight Watcher system, I'm eating twice as many calories as I'm supposed to be eating if you translate points to calories, and I continue to lose weight. I continue to lose body fat. It was very interesting. So over the course of these 3 months, I had lost another 3% body fat, I lost another 5 pounds of body weight. Now that's on top of that 26 pounds that I had originally lost in those first 2 months of ketogenic dieting. And I also gained 3 pounds of muscle. So what's interesting with ketogenic eating is the recommendation is that you don't do a lot of excessive exercise, because then you start to have more cravings for carbohydrates, as well as you start to, your body's trying to metabolize fat for energy. And so if you're burning or creating too much of an energy demand, it throws you out of whack a little bit. So usually, well, for me at least, I cut my workouts down to about half, and I stopped any type of excessive cardio or too intense cardio, unless it was like high intensity intervals for short periods of time. So their results, when they stayed within their point systems that was recommended, is they lost about a pound of fat a week. So I basically ate twice as much food, although I eliminated a macronutrient, carbohydrates, but could have up to 50 grams a day, which I usually did in the form of berries, and then maybe just some residual carbohydrates from other foods, but predominantly fat as well as protein. So what I conclude from this is that the effects that carbohydrates had on my insulin levels was far more important than the total calories that I was consuming. So if I had ingested carbohydrates and stayed within a point system, I'm not so sure that I would have had the kind of results that I had from following ketogenic dieting. And that, to me, it appeared in my experience that the calories didn't matter as much as the hormonal effect of food was having on my body. So especially, you talk about insulin resistance, and those that have insulin resistance usually have thicker waistlines. Well, that's where I lost a lot of my weight. And so a lot of my pants were getting really baggy in the waist, and I finally saw the six-pack really shine again, really pop. The other interesting conclusion, again, is that, I did not control my calories. I counted them for the sake of the points, for the experiment to see how it worked with Weight Watchers, but I didn't necessarily say I'm going to have X amount of calories or X amount of points. I ate to satiety, so I'd eat till I was full, and there were times where I might eat every 2-3 hours, and then I may not eat for 5 or 6 hours. There were times that I didn't eat any dinner. There were times where maybe I skipped breakfast just because I didn't feel hunger kick in. So I listened to my body, and if my energy dipped a little, then I would eat. I would eat macadamia nuts. I would have beef jerky, things like that. Everything that's associated with the ketogenic diet. I didn't control my portion sizes either. There were days, there was one day in particular, I made 3 steaks and lathered it up with, avocado or guacamole, and ate all 3. And I had no intentions of eating all 3, but when I was cooking them and I was just basically doing some meal prep, it smelled good. I was hungry. I don't think it was a particularly stressful day, or that I had really skipped any meals early, so I was famished, nothing like that. I was just hungry, so I ate all 3, and I saw no negative effects on the scale or in how I felt physically. So it didn't matter how many meals I had a day. None of that was a factor. Like I said, there were days where I had 2 meals, or days where I ate 6-7 times a day, and it was just based on how I felt. I noticed another thing too that was interesting, was not only was I continuing to have body composition changes that I liked, increasing muscle, losing fat, but also I got sick less frequently. So, doing this through the winter time, that's this cold season, flu season. In years past, I've been very prone to sinus infections, and I noticed that I had no sinus infections at all in that 3 months over the winter time. I may have had like one minor cold where it was like sniffles and it was gone the next day. When I go to the doctor, my blood pressure was lower, and I have a family history of that. So blood pressure going down to where it was at a point before ketogenic that I was borderline, or I was hypertensive, and my doctor was like, look, I'm going to give you a month or give you 2 months, whatever it was, but you are really hypertensive, and you can't, stay in this state. So you need to do something, or I'm going to put you on meds. And I didn't want to go on meds. My father died of a heart attack in his early 60s and was a relatively healthy weight and a former athlete. And so I knew that that was in my DNA. And I said, okay, if there's anything I can do to control that and not get on meds, that's what I'm going to do. So I noticed blood pressure dropped to a very good range, and then also my resting heart rate dropped as well, because it tended to get elevated. And I don't know if that was having stressors in my life. I don't think there was much difference in stress. I think it was pretty much the same. But that's my results, you know. Like I tell people, I don't know if a ketogenic diet or intermittent fasting or any of the, you know, other systems are necessarily any better or worse, but that was my take from it. So with approximately 3 months doing it with the Weight Watchers to track it, and then the 2 months prior, so 5 total months of doing ketogenic eating, fantastic results. I found it something very easy to stay with for me. I can do it without any apprehension. The only time that I started to have carbohydrate cravings was when I was training, doing distance running with a friend of mine. And I found when I got into the 10, 12, 15 mile range that I started to see the effects of ketogenic, where I didn't have the same energy levels. It was really hard to sustain a good pace and keep it because of the lack of glucose and fuel in my system. And it just wasn't a good, clean conversion for me. And but I eliminated that and got back to the basics of the systems of eating, or systems of training rather, for a ketogenic diet, and I feel great. So hope that helps you guys. That was my take from it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the video. If you have any experience that might be counter that, I'd love to hear it. Always learning, and it's a community where we're just trying to really figure it all out, bringing what we've learned to the table, and everyone brings their voice, and we'll all be better for it, you guys. So 5nothing100nothing.com, signing out, you guys. Have a great day, and good luck with whatever system you're doing. All right, my undersized underdogs. Over and out.